So what we have here is a quick little mock-up object that I made of a warp pipe just so that I had something to use as a visual reference while I'm putting the topper part, which is what we'll be designing, that will sit on that coffee can together. So this way I kind of get an idea of what a warp pipe is supposed to look like so I can do the diameters appropriately. Now I'm gonna, in Tinkercad, I will build a little mock-up cylinder in there as well, just to kind of, so I have like a direct reference. So and I'll use this one, and it'll be on, this one will be on another monitor. So I will have it to look at as I assemble it in Tinkercad. So that's what this is for. It's not a big deal. It was based off of an idea that I had for a similar project, but it was a long time ago, where the whole thing was going to be 3D printed, but it was going to be horribly, horribly wasteful. So that's where I kind of reinvented it using the coffee can to save on plastic. So anyway, we will minimize this, and I will move it over if Windows will let me. All right, and so here we are in Tinkercad. You can see that I've got the test ring and the test cone in here because these will be integrated into the design for it. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to go about making this, so it might be time consuming. So there might be some differences in the audio because I might time lapse some of the narration that I'm doing right now to condense on time, and then I'll do a voiceover over the top of it. So if you notice a distinct change in voice, that's probably why, because I've moved to a time lapse so that it's not 3 hours of you watching me fumble around in Tinkercad. So, but to get started, I figured I would first make that cylinder, and I want to make it roughly the size of our coffee can. So our coffee can is 6 1/8 by 6 1/8. And we will kick the, oh no, that's not the one I want, sides is the one I want. So it's as round as possible, and then we'll make that. The measurement that I took, it hadn't really been important to this point, but if you remember, I did actually take this measurement, and it was 6 3/4 inches approximately for measuring from the inside, but then measuring from the outside, it was approximately 7 inches. So I'm just going to go with 7 inches. Ooh, this thing's going to be big. Okay, so that is basically our coffee can. So everything that I build will basically be corresponding to this. Now, the way that I built the ring, the can would actually go in it upside down, so that does not help. So what I want to do is highlight, oh, no, not the big guy. Just those. Raise them up a little bit, and then give them a 180. Okay, so now the little gap that the rim of the can sits in is actually facing down, so I can build it up, and then I can use this as my visual reference as I go along. So just like that. Okay, so then our 3 rings, which you can see here, I am going to alter a little bit. if I can find a view that it'll let me see things well. Oh, nope, it doesn't seem to want to do that. Okay, well, Tinkercad is a very simple program, so it's not surprising that it has its limitations. But the big one is, why don't I just come around here and I'll take this outer, just the outer ring, right? And let's see if it'll let me do it, because I want to pull it up and down. So we'll make it taller. I want it to be like 3/4 of an inch down. So let's go at an inch total. Okay, and then we'll just move that straight down. And that should be about 3/4 of an inch below the rest of the lip. So this will sit on the outside, and then I'll build out around from this to, you know, make it up and and the right height and everything, and give it the right thickness. But I wanted it to go down the can a little bit as well, so that way when I glue everything together, it has a nice huge area to take whatever adhesive. I'm probably going to go with some kind of epoxy, you know, a combination chemical, so that way it's nice and hard and permanent. So yeah, I instead of just saying I'm not sure, I think I'll just go with epoxy. That way I don't have to stumble over my words all the time. So yeah, I don't foresee it needing to be super accurate, because we have all of the measurements that we actually need. So now it's just a matter of making it look proportionate. So if we go basing it off of here, it looks like that's right about my 3/4 of an inch. Let me draw this in a little closer and see where we're at. Yeah, see how close that is to the inner edge there, so I can probably use that as a good judge, which is fantastic. So we'll build this up until we have, I'm going to shoot for 2.5 inches first. Oh, no, I think 2.5 might be too much. Now, what do you think? Yeah, like if you pay attention to here, this will be, I'm thinking 2.5 inches is too much. So let's go down to 2 even. What do you think? I think that's the one. Yeah, I like that. So it goes down approximately 3/4 of an inch. This length is 2 inches exactly, and then with approximately that 3/4 of an inch disappeared from here. This is our coffee can. I think that's just about right. And then obviously, like, I'm just using this as perspective because it's not in there perfect, but I think the height of the, like I said, just focusing on this area here, so like, you know, the visual effect of it being pretty close. I think I like that. Yeah, that height will do just nicely. All right, so let's get this out of the way. And then, so if this is where the can will sit, I need to figure out where I want the, the shadow of the pipe to be, what will actually be the the top surface that will go flush around this whole area. I know I want to use a copy of that ring. Let's see if I got the right one. Copy, paste, and I think I did. Yeah, it looks good. Okay, let's raise that up a little bit higher. See if we can't get it into place. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just needs to not stick out of the circle, and it needs to be connected in the circle. So like you can see where this one has the black edges here, but it's missing here, that means it's inside. So if we can get that, if we see that all the way around, we are pretty well good. All right, and then so what we can do with that is adjust the wall thickness. See? So it doesn't close it up all the way, and that's fine. Because we need to fit this in there anyway. So let's see here. Do we think is that enough of a gap between the top rim of the pipe and the flat? Like this surface will be painted black to kind of represent, you know, the warp tube itself, and then the bouquet, which will be sitting in here, mounted inside that hole, and then they'll be melded together. And I'll do some things to make sure that all of that is nice and solid, which you'll see here in a minute, because I had a stroke of, well, I say genius, but I'll use the term lightly, that might actually, you know, like reinforce everything really, really good. So, so I like that, and we'll make it just the littlest bit thicker. So that way it'll be good and sturdy. Because we definitely, I mean, it doesn't need to survive a nuclear war, but I would like it to be able to be, you know, pretty stout. So now we have the can lip in there, and we have the lid basically, and then we've got enough of a lip over that so that it, you know, once it gets painted black, and then the pipe is green and stuff, it'll actually have a little bit of legitimate depth to it. Not crazy over the top, but, you know, enough. And yeah, no, I think I like where this is going. So, what do you think? What do you think we should do next? I'm thinking, yeah, let's try to widen that out a bit so that we get the width we're looking for. And how are we going to go about doing that? Because I know wall thickness is going to move it inside, which is not what we want. And I think we're going to have to make another one. So let's get us another tube. Actually, you know what? Even better idea. Let's get rid of that one. I think I'll just do a copy of this one. And then that way we can use this for its size reference, which is 6.5. And we'll go, let's do 6 3/4. Oh, that's 6 7/8. 6 1/4 that way. 6 3/4, sorry, that way. And then let's see if we can't center it. I think I might have got it spot on first try.